In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree-hugging, hippie, free-to-be, you and me types exit the facility immediately. Thank you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Come expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks, well, happy Monday evening. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. That's right, the day of the week that most of us can't stand is about in the can, and that means it is also time for America Off the Rails. All right, so lots of stuff to talk about today. I'm going to start with what I thought would have started out as kind of a lighthearted tweet. I've been saying it on the radio now for a few weeks. Figure I might as well take it to social media now as well. So I tweeted out this morning that for those of you who think that voting third party doesn't work, if I buy Dr. Pepper, then I'm not supporting Coke or Pepsi. The same is true for third party voting. Interesting things happened, though. People started spouting off without even bothering to do a modicum of checking. And the scary thing is, the more I looked at people's reactions and the more I looked at the things that they said, the more I realized that this in and of itself, this one little cross-section, is a prime example of how we wound up with 2 of the most under and unqualified people in our lifetimes to be president. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So an interesting thing happened, because I put that tweet out, right? So within about 10 minutes, there were at least 5 or 6 different people that were telling me that I was an idiot because either Pepsi or Coke owned Dr. Pepper, so I was supporting one or the other, whether I wanted to admit it or not. So you might ask, well, Rick, why is that important? See, if it was just about this tweet, it wouldn't have been, but it proved something. I was able to refute this before I ever even put the tweet out by doing 5 seconds worth of research. Dr. Pepper is not owned by either of the 2 major bottling companies in this country, but they are intertwined. It's not the same thing. Dr. Pepper is owned by Snapple. Snapple doesn't have a lot of the bottling infrastructure that both Coke and Pepsi do. So in certain parts of the country, it is either bottled by a Coke bottling plant, like it is here, or a Pepsi bottling plant, like it is in other places. And Coke even owns the rights to market Dr. Pepper internationally. But Dr. Pepper is still a brand in and of itself. And yet there were people all day today telling me that I was wrong, that I was an idiot, because I didn't understand that I was either supporting Coke or Pepsi by buying Dr. Pepper, which is not true. And was easily refuted with about 30 seconds worth of research. If you're curious about that, you can actually go to my Twitter page, AOTR_host. You can find the initial tweets, some back and forths, and then the one that I finally put out towards the end of the day today to let the cat out of the bag as to the real reason that I posted the tweet. It's because I already pretty much knew what was going to happen before I posted it. It was going to become exactly what it was, a small-scale example as to why we have the election cycle that we have right now, because we have way too many people that think they know all of the answers and open their mouth before they bother to do any checking. Now, I will say that of mainstream America, the media, and even a lot of our talk show hosts. Yeah, I mean, I just threw us all under the bus because we're guilty of it. But I didn't realize just how bad it had gotten. But then I kept looking at all these people saying, well, you're an idiot, Rick, because Coke owns Dr. Pepper. Or you're a moron because Pepsi owns Dr. Pepper. And I started looking, and I'm like, this is a prime example of how we got where we are. This is a perfect example of how we got where we are. And it's very scary to look at and to watch it unfold right before your eyes and realize that people really don't do any fact-checking of their own anymore. They just don't. I don't understand how we got where we are today. Well, I take that back. I do understand how we got where we are today. I'm just not sure how we fix it. Because at this point, I'm afraid to fix it, we're going to have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because we're going to have to completely revamp our education system. For about the last 40 years, the education system has basically been dumbed down to the point where we're teaching people basic functioning and the ability to run machines and not much else. On a whole, we don't have any critical thinking skills anymore. Even though information is readily available and it's the easiest time ever to be able to do research, most people don't. And instead, they listen to their news flavor of choice, formulate all their opinions from said news flavor of choice, and shout down anyone who disagrees with them. And people wonder why we are where we are today. Now, as we've been doing quite a bit over the last few weeks, we're going to talk about some news stories and some interesting things that are coming out in the news. We're going to talk about Hillary Clinton, we're going to talk about Donald Trump, and we're basically just going to lay it all out there and let you make up your own mind. Because that's what I do. It's what I've always done. It's what I will continue to do. Now, as far as interesting things in the news, a couple of things going on that are noteworthy. Apparently, there was a scientist in Iran that may or may not have been helping the United States by giving information to the United States that apparently was murdered. There are apparently references to the former Secretary of State's connections with this person through her email. You know, the thing that everybody keeps saying isn't a big deal and we shouldn't be worried about it because, you know, things happen and every presidency has done this type of thing and it's never been a big deal until now, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Look, I'm going to say the same thing that I always say in this instance. I don't care how many other presidencies did these things. I don't care how many other presidencies got away with it. Simple fact of the matter is, nothing drastic had happened with that information until now. And that's really the bottom line of it. Is since when do we live in a world where, okay, well, since it happened under Bush 41, and it happened under Clinton, and it happened under Bush 43, then it should be okay now. When did we start living with the idea that if my predecessors did it and were not in any trouble for it, I should be able to do the same thing? Because again, this is just another example of exactly how broken our system is when people were able to use email gathered from an unsecured server to basically out someone who was helping us in the Middle East, and that person was murdered. I don't understand why no one wants to talk about these things. I don't understand why no one wants to do anything about these things. This still takes us right back in tandem to the whole Benghazi situation. Look, I'm a firm believer that if she hadn't had email in unsecure places, Benghazi probably wouldn't have happened. At least not the way that it did. Those people had access to way too much information to be able to put together what they put together, and the administration knew it. It's why they started trying to blame it on a YouTube video. A YouTube video that has since been removed, and if memory serves, looked like something that a 5-year-old could have put together. But it was the cause of the entire situation. Never mind the fact that we had a sitting ambassador killed in the line of duty and drugged through the streets, while we had people that had disobeyed a direct order to stand down go to that particular annex and fight so that people could be rescued. Now, let's also not forget there's something else that's been going on there for quite some time that nobody's talking about. And that is the fact that we know, based on reports, news media, etc., that there were weapons platforms available in Benghazi area and also within a minimum of 90-minute reach. There was an RDF ready to go. It could have been scrambled in there in 90 minutes during a 7-hour protracted firefight, and yet it didn't happen. There was one of the people that was fighting to save those people that were under attack that was using a laser designator to paint targets. And yet even Trey Gowdy tries to tell us that after further investigation and review, it has come to our attention that there were no assets available in or around Benghazi and no help was on the way, due to the fact that they assumed this was an evacuation already in progress and didn't feel that the help was warranted or needed at the time. So I have a question. How did the laser designator work? For those of you who don't know, a laser designator is a targeting system that works in conjunction with laser-guided weaponry typically available on some form of an aircraft, whether it be a drone or an AC-130, both of which we know were in the area. But here's the kicker. If there were no platforms available, it wouldn't have been doing any good for the young man who was doing so to attempt to paint targets, because nothing would have been able to be hit with the beam. And yet he's standing up there making a target of himself because they can see that he is designating their positions as a target with that laser designator. Now, folks, it's one thing to be anti-Clinton or pro-Trump or vice versa, but it's another thing when you really stop and look and start digging and realizing that we're being played. Politics has become a brand war, elections are nothing but an illusion of choice, and both parties lie to us on a regular basis. Those are not easy things for me to accept. They truthfully are not easy things for me to accept, but it doesn't change the fact that I have no choice but to accept them, because they are true. If you use Occam's razor, then everything that I'm telling you tonight is true. Look at the collusion behind the scenes between the Democrats and the Republicans. Look at all of the things that came out in Hillary's email that had a lot of information about the two campaigns being intertwined and intertangled. Nobody's talking about that because they want you to keep feeling like you have a choice. Because as long as they're giving you the illusion of choice, then you're going to continue to make the same choice. Our elections have become insane. Our elections have become Pavlovian in nature. If you're Republican, then you got to vote for the one wearing the red tie. If you're Democrat, you got to vote for the one wearing the blue tie. And God forbid you're not either one of those, because then you're wasting your vote. Doesn't really matter which one you vote for, as long as you're voting for one of those two, because if you don't, then you're wasting your vote. I haven't seen that nearly as prominent in the Democratic circles as I have this cycle, because they are completely terrified because of the shakeup from Bernie, that nobody really wants to vote for Hillary. So for the first time in my lifetime, I'm seeing both parties using the same rhetoric. A vote for Jill Stein is a vote for Donald Trump. A vote for Johnson is a vote for Hillary. But let's not forget, folks, it's basic math. Not how it works. It's not even how it's supposed to work. But it's definitely not how it works. Because if I vote for Johnson, then I've not voted for Trump, and I've not voted for Hillary. If I vote for Hillary, then I've not voted for Trump, and I have voted for Hillary, which puts a 1 squarely in her column. If I vote for Trump, then I have not voted for Hillary, and I've put a 1 squarely in Trump's column. But if I vote for Johnson, then Hillary's column gets a 0 from me, Trump's column gets a 0 from me, and Johnson's column gets a 1 from me. So again, for all of you crazy people trying to tell me that I'm wasting my vote, wasting my time, and that if I don't vote for Trump, then I'm automatically voting for Hillary, obviously you don't understand how our election system works, and it's not surprising that we've been getting played for as long as we have been, because nobody truly does understand how the system is supposed to work. It is insane how few people actually understand the electoral college system and how it's actually designed to work. Because the simple fact of the matter is, folks, in this day and age, it still works the same way as it did back then. It's not popular vote. In 2000, the Democrats wanted it to be popular vote. in 2017 or 2016, I'm pretty sure the Republicans are going to be screaming that it should have been popular vote, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a mathematical representation based on the number of delegates awarded to each state and how those states' delegates are bound or unbound in certain circumstances to vote the will of their state. And that's how an election is won, not the popular vote. So for all of you that have been screaming about how rigged the system is for the last couple of years and screaming how it should be a popular vote, congratulations, you now sound like the Democrats from 2000. Not sure if anybody's told you that before, but I will. Alright, so at this point, we're going to go ahead and take the break a couple minutes early because I've got a couple of clips I want to play when we get back. Because there have been some interesting breaks in the Trump camp this week. A few things that I want to touch on from today especially. So this is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes right after these commercial messages.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your...
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At the Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support the Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
All right, folks. Well, welcome back. We are at the end of the show. The bottom of the hour. Bear with me a second. We're at the bottom of the hour at this point. Sorry about that. The gremlins were hitting me again, so I couldn't hear myself talk there for a second. Thought I wasn't broadcasting. All right, so at this point, we are at bottom of the hour. Got a lot of things still left to talk about. A couple of things from a speech that Trump gave today. These clips are a little long. I don't know if I'm actually going to have time to play both of them, but I do actually want to get into something that he said, because it actually goes along with what I've been talking about with Clinton for the last little bit. And for once, I actually agree with something that Trump was talking about. And we're going to play that now.
Now let's look at what the Obama-Clinton policies have done nationally. Their policies produced 1.2% growth, the weakest so-called recovery since the Great Depression. It's been written about all over. It's a disaster. And a doubling of the national debt during the Obama years. There are now 94.3 million Americans outside of the labor force. It was 80.5 million when President Obama took office, an increase of 14 million people. The Obama-Clinton agenda of tax, spend, and regulate has created a silent nation of jobless Americans. Home ownership is at its lowest rate in 51 years. Thank you very much. Thank you. I will say the Bernie Sanders people had far more energy and spirit. I will say. Nearly 12 million people have been added to the food stamp, and these people are growing, and it's growing so rapidly since President Obama took office. Another nearly 7 million people, great Americans, are right now living in poverty. Poverty. We have the lowest labor force participation rates in 4 decades. 58% of the African American youth are either outside of the labor force or not employed. 1 in 5 American households do not have a single member in the labor force, not a single member of a household. These are the real unemployment numbers. The 5% figure is one of the biggest hoaxes in American modern politics. Meanwhile, American households are earning more than $4,000. Think of that. $4,000 less today than they were 16 years ago. The average worker today pays 31.5% of their wages to income and payroll taxes. On top of that, state and local taxes consume another 10%. Very grim picture. The United States also has the highest business tax rate among the major industrialized nations of the world at 35%. It's almost 40%. It's almost 40% when you add in taxes at the state level, and in many cases and many states, it's much higher than that. In other words, we punish companies for making products in America, but let them ship products into the United States tax-free if they move overseas. This, ladies and gentlemen, is backwards. This is backwards. All of our policies should be geared toward keeping jobs and wealth inside of the United States. Under my plan, no American company will pay more than 15% of their business income in taxes. In other words, we're reducing your taxes from 35% to 15%. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so there was a lot of material in there, so we're going to back up a little bit, kind of go over some more of it here. And some of the stuff that he's talking about are the same things that we've been talking about now for years. Lowest labor participation rate, highest corporate tax rate in the world, most people on food stamps. But he doesn't really talk about how he's going to fix it, which is where he always falls short. And, if you remember, during the beginning of his campaign, he always talked about, well, there'll be a time for me to give you my policies, but that time is not now, because I'm afraid that the other people that I'm running against will find a way to take my policies and try to make them their own, and then you'll think that they have better ideas than me. Well, he's only got one competitor still left on the field, folks. That's Hillary Clinton. And yet he's not really doing anything to go after her. In fact, over the last several weeks, he's been more engrossed with destroying Ted Cruz, John Kasich, Paul Ryan, and John McCain up until he finally fell on bended knee and endorsed both McCain and Ryan. To the chagrin of some of his most diehard supporters, I actually saw one of them completely jump off board the Trump train for about 5 minutes until he started taking vitriol from all sides, the way those of us who refuse to support Trump or Hillary do, and he caved in 5 minutes and was back on board the Trump train, kissing the ring again. Now look, folks, I don't claim to have all of the answers. What I do tell you is that, in my opinion, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are both bad for this country. And I understand people are angry. They're angry over those very things that he was talking about. Highest number of people on food stamps, lowest labor participation rate in 40 years. I understand just how dire this situation is. I understand that in the last quarter, we had two of the biggest providers of oil in our country either report breaking even or reporting at a loss for the first time since 1990. So for everyone who keeps telling you how good the Obama administration's doing, they're buying into the hype. They're buying into the rhetoric. It was the same rhetoric that was used in 2000 when the Clintons were hell-bent to make sure that their good friend Al Gore got to be the president of the United States. They did everything they could to prop up the economy that was already showing signs of failing and flailing. Enron, for example. That company had had their reports changed, paperwork reworked for months until the Bush administration took office. The Enron scandal, in tandem with the 9/11 attack, we're honestly lucky we still had an economy left at all. And yet somehow we did. Because we had someone at the helm who understands how these things work, and that there are times when cutting taxes is much more important than raising taxes. I mean, why not? It's one of the reasons why I've been saying now for years, the easiest way to fix our tax system is to get rid of this freaking Encyclopedia Britannica box set we have of a tax code. Get it to the point where there is a 10 cent on every dollar federal sales tax. And then set it so that if people are able to verify that they have little to no income, they get an exemption card that they can swipe at the register. But think about it. If the liberals and conservatives, either one, were really that concerned with people paying their fair share, because that's what you hear all the time. We've got to pay our fair share, Rick. Too many rich people not paying enough taxes. Okay, fine. Let's forget the fact that like 3% of the population pays 65% of the taxes. Or, no, I'm sorry. 3% of the population pays about 50% of the taxes. You drop that to about, or raise that to about 15, the top 15%, they pay about 65% of the taxes. Then the other 20, 35% is divided up among the other top 50, and then the bottom 50 pay absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, most of them actually get money back every year. But let's forget all that for a second. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that these people are finding ways to cheat the system and get to keep more of their money. I'm honestly starting to think they must be, otherwise Donald Trump would be willing to release his taxes, and he's not. So let's assume that that premise is correct. Easiest way to fix it: 10 cents on the dollar goes to the federal government. Every time you buy something, whether it's a pack of gum or a brand new house, 10 cents on the dollar of the overall asking price gets paid out to the federal government in taxes. Cars, boats, houses, vacations, fishing poles, new fish, new dogs, new cats, whatever. If you're paying for it, then there needs to be a federal sales tax. And again, there are ways to make sure that it's at least as fair as possible. Now, there are always going to be ways to cheat the system, so even making sure someone can verify income that puts them up below a certain level to give them an exemption card doesn't necessarily mean that they may not be off doing things for cash to make a little bit of extra money and therefore technically probably ineligible. But, again, some working and gaming of the system is expected. So would this still not be a much quicker, better way to fix the problem? Because then if you're spending $100,000 on a car, you have no choice but to pay your fair share of that $100,000 purchase in taxes. If you're only able to spend $5,000 on a car, you still have to pay your share of that $5,000 in taxes. Seems like a pretty fair trade-off to me. But again, the government actually doesn't want these problems fixed, because if they did, we wouldn't need them anymore, and we wouldn't need their illusion of choice, which is all this election cycle is. Think about it for a moment. If you vote for Hillary Clinton, you're getting a Democrat. If you vote for Donald Trump, you're basically getting a donor to the Democrats. I mean, do you really honestly think it was a coincidence that he spoke to Bill Clinton before he decided to run for office? Now, back to his tax plan, because he said it a little bit about lowering corporate tax rates. I'm okay with that to a point, but I think we need to stop rewarding bad behavior. Look, I'm not anyone who thinks that government should be telling people what they should and shouldn't pay their employees, but I think we should give them an incentive to pay folks more. I personally think the Costco business model is ingenious. The CEO makes enough to live comfortably, and so do the people that work under him. There was a time that was a common business practice here in America. It stopped being that, and I don't really know why. And again, I don't begrudge the guy that's all the way at the top that decides that he needs to make $20 million a year. That's fine if that's how you want to run your business. I know how to deal with other people that run it the way that I want it to be run. And that's the other thing to keep in mind. We can still vote for which business practices and policies we want. It's called voting with our wallets. So and for those of you that are screaming that $7.50 is not a livable wage, it needs to be at least $15 an hour. Pretty easy way to make them understand exactly how much you want things to change. That's to stop frequenting the places that pay so little that you don't think is fair. Now, one thing that I will disagree with when it comes to a lot of my other conservative counterparts is the fact that the minimum wage is not supposed to be a living wage. The minimum wage, when it was first established, was to be a guideline for what a living wage should have been at that time, to make sure that everyone that was working and that was working 40 hours a week could manage to pay their bills, do the things they need to do, and have money left over in the bank. We lost track of that somewhere along the way. But the hardest thing for everybody to understand about that is when we did lose track of that somewhere along the way, and I'll be the first one to admit that we did, we've made it impossible to fix it. Because we've got all of these different corporations now that are beholden to all these shareholders that want X amount of dollars on each dollar invested to be a return of investment for them. And if they don't get that, they start pulling their funding and they start leaving and they start going elsewhere. We have CEOs at the top that have decided they need to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And again, I don't begrudge them of that. It's their right, it's their choice to determine how the people that work for them get paid, what type of benefits they receive, and what their overall compensation and remuneration is for the work that they've done. So again, you don't like the way Walmart pays its employees, maybe you find somewhere else to shop besides Walmart. You don't like the way Target treats their employees, or especially their new gender-neutral bathroom policy, maybe you find somewhere else to shop besides Target. Support your local businesses more. Quit going to the national chains. Look, folks, the simple fact of the matter is the only way we're going to affect change is to do so locally. That works on every single level, whether it's from politics to where you spend your money. That's how you affect change. If too many people stop going to Walmart and Walmart starts putting out surveys to figure out why their numbers are down, and everybody starts talking about the fact that they feel their wage scale is unfair, Walmart may actually listen to that, but it's still ultimately their decision. Which is, again, why I keep saying that at this point we need a carrot approach, not a stick approach. And this is mainly for the bigger corporation folks, because I understand it won't work well for the mom and pops. We'd have to figure out some way to give them an incentive of some kind too. But for the folks that have a certain number of employees, for every one of those employees that receives a hourly wage greater than minimum wage by at least 10%, would start receiving tax benefits. The more money they're giving to those employees, the more tax benefits they would receive. Which, and again, maybe it's just because I only run small businesses, but I know there are times when I love being able to pay somebody a bonus. Because one, keeps me from having to pay all the taxes on it. And I love being able to give guys more than minimum wage and gals more than minimum wage when they come to work. Because they're spending their time out of their day helping me build my business. So why wouldn't I pay them more? They can go to Walmart, work half as hard, and get paid minimum wage if that's what they want to do. I mean, everybody talks about all these corporate jobs and all these national level jobs like Walmart, Target, everywhere else. You're going to work harder for a mom and pop shop in most cases. Because there aren't as many employees to fall back on. There isn't the huge network in case somebody calls in sick of people that can swoop in and pick up the slack. So yeah, I mean, if you're a mom and pop shop and you're paying minimum wage, I hope you're only paying minimum wage to a certain age. And if we're going to have some sort of a mandatory minimum wage, I think there should be age restrictions as to how it's placed and when it's placed. But I still like the carrot approach much better. But if we're going to have wage caps in place for minimums, then maybe we should have a minimum wage of $7.50 an hour below the age of 18 still attending high school. Then we can raise it to $10 an hour for above the age of 18 no longer attending high school or college. But again, if we give companies an incentive, it wouldn't matter what the minimum wage was. Because it would benefit them in a multitude of ways to pay people more money. Alright, so believe it or not, we are already almost out of time. If you're listening to us live, I just want to remind you that the Rhino Report is coming up next right here on KLRNradio.com. Also, if you are listening to us elsewhere, you can hear this show on places like SHR Media, AMFM247.com, Red Nation Rising Radio, the Liberty Channel, Leading Edge Radio Network, and a multitude of others. So I just want to take a moment to say thanks to all of you that do make this show possible on a daily basis. Also, new little tidbit over here on the KLRN homepage. If you like what we're doing here, as you hear, we do play commercial breaks. We are attempting to become a fully funded radio station and radio network through advertisers and sponsors. We have not yet managed to make that hurdle happen, though. So if you like what we do here, then all we really do is encourage that every once in a while you click on that donate button, put a couple of bucks in the coffers, and help us keep things running smoothly. If you can, that's great. If you can't, that's awesome too. No donation too big, no donation too small. And on that note, folks, I am out for the night. This has been America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. I'll be back with you live tomorrow night for a double shot. First Jen and Rick, then America Off the Rails. And before that, of course, JD and Stacy and Wins World.
Both did everything you earned by breaking your backs. We're gonna redistribute when we make our pay tax. Hey, sit back down.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At The Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support The Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.